Well, hello, good evening. This is your the man about town, Petty Murphy, reporting to you live from the back of the classroom with Akata News Network. What is that? Wait a minute. Stay tuned. Breaking news. Yeah, what's cracking? How everybody doing? Yeah, I just wanted to drop a quick line, you know what I mean? Because I'm wholeheartedly convinced that nobody's paying attention to what's going on because everybody's caught up in the rat race. And most people just don't care, right? Now, I've seen people celebrating what's happening, so on and so forth, and whatever. I can't be held accountable for no one else's actions. That's not my cross to bear. What I do want to say, though, is one thing. There's a document that governs the land, the mass that we all reside on together, right? And in that, in one of those amendments, is free speech. Now, I personally enjoy having my free speech because if I didn't, what I'm going through right now with my battle against NYU in 1199, I wouldn't be able to freely speak about it because I wasn't getting no wins within the institution, and I'm having to still fight from outside the institution. And my free speech was helping me do that, and me utilizing the laws that allow me to prove what's going on. But at what point do we get to a place in space where it's okay to take someone's head off simply because you don't agree with their personal beliefs or ideologies? That's insanity to me. And if y'all pay attention to what's going on, this whole country right now is a powder keg. After what happened the last 4 years, old Sleepy Papa Joe and Mama Kamala letting all her kids in here to destabilize, and now we're having all these issues with our sanctuary cities, so on and so forth, right? Then you add to the fact, what just happened in Carolina? I highly suggest that you hop on your favorite social media network and start reading the comments. I don't even know if Stormfront is still up. But go to places like that and read what's being said. Because see, once the fuse on this powder keg is lit, ain't no putting it out and ain't no turning it off. And even though Charlie Kirk, because they talk about the 13% committing 60% of the crime, but even though Charlie Kirk was unalived by one of his own, that anger is going to spill over into our community. And what I want people to understand is right now we out here fighting a whole bunch of fights that ain't even ours because of the liberal Democrat. And people just don't seem to get it. And it's crazy to me because I remember a little bit after the Million Man March when the Klan wanted to have this major rally and shit, and the federal government was trying to shut them down. And Farrakhan came out and spoke on their behalf. And I'll never forget, he said, I had the Million Man March, and if I ever want to have another one, I don't want no one coming between me and my freedom of speech. So he supported not the Klan's message, but their rally. So how did we get to a point where one whole group of people who want people to call them by special pronouns and recognize things that aren't even actually true, to they're now moving to violence with people whose views they oppose? And why are we accepting this? Because that could have been you and your view being opposed and someone trying to take your head off. This is wild to me, yo. And like I say, we in a powder keg, and people are worried about what's happening in Palestine. Al-Abid. Go look it up. If you haven't read Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper, I highly suggest you go look it up. If you haven't heard about Project Blue Book, I highly suggest you go look it up and then read the room and see what's happening right now. This is one grand scale psyop and everybody's falling for it. They are trying to get us to go at one another so nobody pays attention to what the real threat is. And all the while, all our rights are being stripped. All the fucking tax dollars are being spent in foreign nations and on illegal immigrants that our federal government and these sanctuary city mayors and governors and shit are actually fighting for in Supreme Court. But it's on our dime. We're paying for this shit. At what point did you go through the legal system to fight for the legality of something that you already know is illegal and against the law? Any of that making sense? Where's the logic in the people of this country? Yo, we better wake up, and we better wake up fast, because at the rate y'all going, You see what's happening in D.C. You see what's happening in the Shah, because niggas is out there talking about they got switches. Y'all are going to give these people a reason to institute martial law. And then you're going to sit back and cry and wonder why martial law has been instituted. But that's what happens when you set cars on fire, you wave Mexican, Honduran, Venezuelan flags and all this other shit, when Maduro himself has already said, his people have already said, they are the destroyer of empires and that the United States of America is on its last leg. Which means this whole process has been a Trojan horse and an infiltration. I don't can't see that. If there's ever been a time for everybody from this motherfucker to put their petty bullshit aside and understand who your actual neighbors are, the people who are your actual countrymen, the people that you have the same color passport with, that time is right now. Because when the lights go out, you best to believe the same people who are telling you to go out there and protest on the behalf of illegals are not coming to save you. They're not sending no police, they're not sending any troops, they're not gonna send a fucking thing. I mean, look what's happening in our communities now. How many times do I have to show you an image of an American citizen on New York City subway set ablaze? How many times do I have to show you article clippings of 6 illegal teenagers who killed a black woman in the Carolinas for her car and still failed and was texting back joking about it? How many times do we have to talk about the young military sister in the military, or the one that just got unalived the other day, or the 5-year-old in Long Island that was sexually assaulted by an illegal migrant? Let's talk about it. Where we at? Where we going? Because I don't think nobody's paying attention. And we're going to get to the point that once you get to the destination, you ain't going to be able to make a U-turn. It's just going to be stuck. So I highly suggest, and I'm not trying to fearmonger, but I highly suggest you keep your head on the swivel, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. And remember, you need to be fighting for your sovereignty and your rights. Other people's issues are not our issues. There is no one from this soil who is a descendant. Like Malcolm said, the Negro finds himself in languish in the dregs society and exiled in his own land. So if you at the crib and you barely get any wins and you from here, how you fighting for somebody that don't even belong here? That's taking resources out of a system that you've paid into, that they get more access to these funds than any of us as Americans do. Black, white, or whatever. So how are these non-citizen illegals getting more access to government funds when we're the ones that pay taxes? And then here we are sitting there fighting with each other over why we should keep people that their own citizens don't want them back. And their own governments are saying that since they've been gone, that all the places they come from, crime rates have dropped. Make that make sense. I've already shown you the images again of the Venezuelan crime statistics. And they said it was because of migration. Where do they migrate to? Right here. So yeah, yo, all I can say is people better really, really wake up and pay attention to what's going on around you. Start reading the room. And if you can't, you better figure something out. Because if not, you're going to be one of those. You're going to turn yourself into food, and you're going to be one of those. But yeah, I'm going to get up out of here, man. And, you know, it's your man's Petty Murphy reporting to you live from the back of the classroom, yo. It's Akata News Network. Like, yo, it's not your fight. You worry about your tribe, worry about your nation, you worry about your peoples. Stay your ass in the house and let them figure their own shit out. Like they said, black people, you think we need your help? Get back, sit down, get your popcorn and watch. So let's just sit back and watch. We have no parts of this. No parts of this. They wanted the essence, they got it. They wanted BET, they got it. Go ahead, take it. And take everything that comes with it. Because if the Supreme Court's saying what they're saying, then you know these people not playing. Keep your eyes to the stars, man. Keep that head on the swivel. Y'all be safe. Stay safe and stay dangerous. Sorry about that. I meant like Martin said. We in exile in our own land. But I will tell you what Malcolm did say. Don't trust the man that calls himself a liberal. Smile in your face and stab your back.
Many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling, and you take him for a friend.
That. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole in the country.